Hello everyone, welcome to Mythic Championship VI. Rich Hagon and Maria Bartholdi here at the news desk gearing up for a wonderful weekend of magic action. Maria, what are you looking forward to?
Oh, draft, Rich. I'm so excited to see this format. A lot of the pros say it's one of their favorites of all time, and I can't wait to see what the pack one pick ones are.
Yep, fair enough. All right, so why don't we show you what the schedule and formats look like, Maria?
All right, so here we go. This is what you're going to watch when you tune in. Of course, we are kicking things off with booster draft. Rounds 1 through 3, and then it is into standard, and that's Swiss pairings, which means you play people on the same record as you, best of 3 matches. Then if you get to 4 wins or better, you get to come back on Saturday, play again. Once again, we are opening it up with booster draft, and then once and again to standard later in the afternoon. And Sunday, top 8 is all standard, all the time, single elimination, best of 5 matches, pre-sideboard for the first 2 games.
Well, it's all about the fun, it's all about the competition, it's all about meeting new opponents from around the world, but it is also about cold, hard cash. Let's take a look at what's on offer here at Mythic Championship VI. And as you can see, the winner will get $50,000 US. Make it to the final, you're still $20,000 better off. As we head on down the top 8, $10,000 guaranteed for reaching Sunday. If you place 32nd, you're still going to get $2,000. And even 501st, and I can tell you we're going to get close to 500 people playing here, will get $500.
Not bad. Well, for a closer look on what we can expect from draft, let's throw it over to Paul and Marshall.
Thank you, Maria. So here's the deal. Every single time we have a Mythic Championship that has a limited component, it's important, right? The players are going to be playing 6 rounds over the course of the first 2 days of booster draft. It's always important. We know that. But here, it somehow feels even more important given that standard is pretty well settled at this point. People know what the metagame looks like, and that means the players look to where they can get the biggest edge for the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the format has now been around for over a month now, so people are kind of settling in. But I think even just a lot of players have really been primarily focusing on standard over the first few weeks of Eldraine. And then now I've just seen so many people hustle at the end and preparing for limited, myself included. Yeah. You know, just trying to jam as many games as possible. And I think limited is really where you can get that big defining edge in this tournament at least.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, a lot of players have recognized that as well and really have been focusing in on trying to hone down what the best is. And now the interesting thing is there's kind of a pattern that you'll see as people figure out a limited format. And, you know, even though the set's been out for a while now, some of the players are still relatively early in that pattern, though I will say the biggest shift in mentality that I've seen in my observance of it has been people coming around to the aggressive decks and starting to draft those more and more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think kind of early on, a lot of people were trying to focused on playing slower, grindier decks. You know, the nature of having food in the environment makes you think that maybe the format is slower. And that is that was the thought process of a lot of people going in. But as you play more and more, all of a sudden you realize that the aggressive cards are really, really good. Cards like Ardenvale Tactician and Rimrock Knight just allow your deck to kind of keep up with kind of some of the more powerful cards. Rimrock Knight is the card, for example, is a huge riser in my opinion. It's a great 2-drop, but at the same time, you can also use it to trade up bigger creatures and then still follow that up with another threat.
Yeah, that's the type of card that you look at early in the format and you think, and then it starts to grow and starts to grow. So we'll have to see. I know you're excited. I'm excited as well to see how limited and everything else goes here at Mythic Championship VI.
Well, not only will nearly 500 players be competing for a spot at first in this championship, also, a few will be playing a sub-game trying to lock up a spot at Worlds, the World Championship, and a few more trying to stay in the MPL. For that, here's Rich Hagon.
Thanks, Maria. 16 players will advance to the World Championship early next year. Now, Javier Dominguez is the reigning champion. He's already there. We have 5 Mythic champions all locked up and 2 more from Mythic Championship 6 and 7. That only brings us to 8. The other 8 come 4 from the MPL, the Magic Pro League, and 4 from the Challengers. Let's look, if the season ended today, on the board behind me, who would be in from the MPL? Well, the answer to that is Andrea Mengucci, the Mythic Invitational champion. He's in prime spot right now on 117 points. Just behind him, Reed Duke, entering the Hall of Fame, of course, this week, 112 points. Third on the list, Brian Brown Dewin, former world champion, of course, 108 points. And finally, last slot right now belongs to Japan, Ken Yukihiro, on 104 points. Right now, they would have a seat at Worlds, just about. Though for Ken, Seth Manfield, Li Chan right on the bubble. Now, what about the challengers? Let's take a look at them for you. Raf Levy leads the way here. These are players who are not in the MPL, 74 points. Just behind him is Chris Kvartet. What a great story he's been this season. Tremendous effort. He's qualified again for Long Beach for Mythic Championship VII. Then we have Louis Scott Vargas, the mighty Hall of Famer, 59 points. And the last seat right now would belong to this man from the Hall of Fame, Gabriel Nassif. Chris Kvartet, you must think, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, and me trying to get a seat in the World Championship. But for the MPL players, it's not just about can we get up to the World Championship, it's can we stay in the MPL. Let me show you what I mean as we head here to look at the MPL trying to stay in it right now. Now, Palavita Dharmadorosa is currently in 20th place out of 32 on 71 points. Right now, he would remain in the MPL, but 21 through 32, they drop down into the Rivals League. So we've just taken 3 examples here. Here's Lucas Esperberto, 62 points, only 9 points behind Paolo, so a decent finish here could easily sweep him into the top 20. But then if we come across here, here's Jess Estefan, Grand Prix Sydney champion, of course, from 2018. 42 points down in 30th place. Jess needs a big finish either here or in Long Beach next month. And the same is true for this man from Argentina, Luis Salvato, the reigning player of the year. Shows how tough the MPL is. 31st of 32. He needs a massive finish, and he needs one really, really soon. Maria, back to you.
Thanks, Rich. Well, of course, here at this tournament, the name of the game is Standard, and a lot of people wondering if there's a deck out there that can take down Oko. Riley and Eduardo have a preview.
Thanks very much, Maria. Yes, indeed, Standard, the name of the game, and public enemy number 1 right now, Oko, Thief of Crowns. Stole too many crowns, Eduardo, stole too many crowns, and I'll tell you what, we're all coming for him pretty hard this weekend. Definitely dominating the format, although, Eduardo, there are Oko decks of all different stripes and different colors.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question coming into this weekend. You know Oko's public enemy number 1. Mm-hmm. Even if you join it, anybody in this field has to beat it. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see players even playing Oko just figuring out the mirror match, because the mirror match is the most important match this weekend. So do you go kind of under? Do you go straight blue-green, tempo, try to go over the top, like try to fly over with something like Brazen Borrow? Do you go Sultai, main deck Noxious Scraps, something like Casualties of War to go really over the top? Or we've seen Bant take over in Grand Prix Lyon, especially mass manipulation, in order to take those planeswalkers. And that's going to be the big question, is how do you engineer already the Oko deck for the mirror?
So there's a lot of internal variants to these Oko decks. There's a lot of different ways you can tune and tweak your deck to fight off other Oko lists. But of course, it's not just Oko. There are plenty of other strategies flying around. Team of Reclamation, there's White-Blue Control. We've seen adventure cards of all types. We've seen Golgari, Gruul, Selesnya, all types of others. So we've got other decks to keep our eye on throughout the weekend.
Right. The big question is, for a lot of these players, they know that kind of the blue-green Oko package, Nissa, Gilded Goose, Once Upon a Time, and Wicked Wolf, that's the dominant strategy. So the question is, how are these Oko decks transforming themselves, and then how can I kind of go around that? Because if there's a lot of Noxious Grass, well, if you play a deck without green or white creatures, that's not going to do much against you. Team of Reclamation doesn't care about Noxious Grass. So that's going to be what these other decks want to do, is try to invalidate the cards that people are bringing in for those mirror matches and try to go either under by being aggressive or going way over the top. For example, the blue-white control deck that came second at Grand Prix Nagoya, Team of Reclamation, as you mentioned, can go way over the top.
Yeah, there's lots of different ways to attack the format. Of course, Oko, Thief of Crowns, the headline act this weekend, but plenty of other cards snapping at his heels. We'll see how things shake out in Standard here at Mythic Championship VI.
Thanks so much, guys. Well, we've been joined here at the desk by Tim Willoughby. And Tim, you're out there on the floor every round talking to players with them after some of their biggest moments, their worst defeats, their best victories. For you, we're now at Mythic Championship VI. Is there a standout tournament for you this year?
I mean, it's been quite the season. It's been lovely being able to see how the season's going, interact with players throughout, but being a little bit selfish maybe, my favourite Mythic Championship was in London. We got a chance to bring everyone to my hometown and see everyone really enjoying the best that London has to offer, but also the best that Modern has to offer, which is just a fantastic format, and we've had plenty of great Modern action the whole way through the season.
Yeah, that's for sure. So Autumn Burchett is a Mythic champion and going to Worlds. Eli Loveman, Matthias Leverato, Torao Severin, and now Javier Dominguez. That's 5. Who will win Mythic Championship 6? The next 3 days will tell it all, and we'll be right here to bring you all the action. Don't you dare miss a thing. We'll see you at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning for the start of Mythic Championship 6.